Welcome back to Educator.com. This is QuickBooks Lesson Time Tracking. QuickBooks has a feature that allows you to do timesheets and track your time on various jobs or for employees, whichever purpose you might have. So what we want to do is activate this feature in QuickBooks. So in order to activate that, we want to go to the Edit and Preference area, and you'll notice that we'll have the time tracker, time and expenses, down at the very bottom of our preferences, and we want to turn that on. So when we click on time and expenses, go to Company Preference tab, and it says, do you track time? We want to make sure that that says yes. I like to say, what's the first day of your work week, etc. We can go into all that. We can create invoices from a list of time and expenses, etc. We can always choose that if we wanted to. Track and reimburse expenses as income, and etc. So here's a markup, default markup of 20% for our expenses, etc. And it will put those expenses as construction income. So whenever we have reimbursed expenses and things like that, it'll actually generate a 20% income on top of those expenses. So that's nice. So we'll click OK. So now that is turned on. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to learn how to enter the time. An employee works, they need to get paid, we need to assign that time to the job. It's very important that when you're in a construction business or a manufacturing business, some sort that where you have individual jobs and you have labor associated with that, to track those labors. I've always insisted on clients to make sure that they will track their time and labor per job. So when someone comes onto the job and they start working on XYZ job, on their timesheet, they make sure that it's associated that hour and a half or 2.5 hours or 2.25 hours for that particular job. And then they move on to the next job or the next project, and they track that time as well. So that when we go ahead and do our job costing, it's accurate and we know exactly how much time was spent on that particular job or project. It's associated with attorneys and accountants and service industries. Many industries have that ability that they need to track that time. So we're going to show you how to do that in QuickBooks rather easily. Under the employee menu in QuickBooks, you'll see where it says enter time. We have a couple of ways of doing that, and the first way that we want to do it is using a single activity. So you can say, well, I spent 2.5 hours on this particular job, I want to assign that. So our new employee, Lisa Sample, went ahead and did some work. And so we're going to record that time. That question was about payroll, so we said yes, we want to include that for time tracking on payroll as well. Lisa did some work on our new remodeled job, and we're going to put that down there on Paula Easley on this kitchen remodel. Lisa was doing some research or purchasing for that, let's say, and the service item is going to be labor, okay, and we're going to make sure that's done. And then there's payroll. We want to make sure that this person is getting paid on the regular pay, okay, and we can put down the description that we were purchasing material for job, okay, and that took this person an hour and a quarter, let's say, hour and 15 minutes. See how I put it in as an hour and a quarter, and it converted it to an hour and 15 minutes. I can also say 1 hour and 15 minutes. Or if we're going to start a project, here's a neat little certain deal. If we haven't done it yet, and this person is doing online purchases or whatever, they can say, I'm going to start doing this, and I'm going to start it and let it run. You'll see the little ticker going off, and it's a little timer, and the person's on the phone, they're on the line, they're making those purchase orders, etc., and they're ordering all that product for this particular job. If you're in a service industry, accountants or attorneys or architecture or whichever, you can also use this timer to track your time as you are on the phone with a client, or if you're doing a draft of architectural work, or if you're an accountant working on particular numbers for a client, you can actually track and use this as a timer. Then once it's done with that project, you're done with that, you can stop it. It'll take it to the nearest minute. That's how attorneys do it. They do it 6 minute increments. They'll call this 1 minute 6 minutes. So this we're not doing. We're going to say it's an hour and a quarter that she took to run around making these purchases, and we're going to save and close that. So that's how we enter that particular time.